What up, dude?
What's up?
Oh man, this thing is all jacked up. Okay, I gotta fix all this. There we go. Okay, there we go.
This is what I'm using for my phone prop.
Of course it is. I would expect nothing fucking less. I
Yeah,
would expect nothing fucking less, brother.
but I'm not drinking that shit tonight. I'm just drinking beer.
You just drink it good and don't mix.
Actually, I haven't drank liquor in a while. Good for me, not to.
I don't know, man.
I think you can understand why. I think the previous story that I told you when you were here, kind of.
Dude, you can't like that story made me fucking laugh
Yeah, well,
so
kind
hard.
of sucks because I got all that fucking liquor over there and I can't drink any of it because apparently it's frowned upon to do the things that I do when I drink liquor. So,
All of that is liquor in those fucking boxes.
and those all those bottled liquor bottles over there.
Oh, they
Yeah,
okay. Okay, yeah, I see that.
yeah.
You just gotta moderate, man. You just gotta drink it slowly.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, DJ.
I know you don't. Yeah, that's the key right there, though, huh? Moderation,
Yeah,
man.
it's definitely the key. So it's a key that I do not have yet. So
So it was something that I was telling Yazi today because fucking Yazi called me up,
yeah,
and it's I told him when I talked to him not long ago, man, and Yazi's one of those guys. I know how much he fucked up when he was in because of all of his drinking and all of his ARIs and shit. But like I really loved that kid, man, because he was such a hard worker and he was loyal as fuck and he was respectful as shit. But he was
right.
just, you know, fucking when he would get that fire water, man, he just couldn't
Oh
fucking
yeah.
control himself, you know.
Trust me,
Uh,
I know. I watched him spit a piece of bloody gauze at a nurse at the Naval Hospital.
yeah,
I know. But he was a good cat, man. He was a really good sober. He was a great Marine,
yeah, dude.
one of the
Eh,
best.
But today, when I talked to him, it was one of the like he's been sober. What he said since Tuesday. And I was telling him, like, look, dude, because he got fired from his job. He's homeless. I mean, he doesn't have a home. He's jobless. He's broke. He can't fucking drive. He's just he can't have a license. Because of all DUIs he's had. I mean, and he doesn't have his kids. And what happened recently, um, just put him in a situation where he was like, dude, I have no idea what the fuck to do.
Right.
And you know, it's shitty because one for me personally, these conversations and these relationships are always really hard, especially when you're someone who really intentionally seeks to help people, like when
Yeah.
I'm really trying to go help motherfuckers. Like there are people that you really need to help, that really need your help,
Right.
and all their shit becomes your shit, and you feel like that's your responsibility, and I'm sure you have felt much the same way with like fucking damn Hazel when he's gotten all fucked up,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for
and
sure.
your buddy in that story, with the cops and the old guy and all that kind of shit. Same fucking thing, and
Yeah.
you feel responsible, man. And but today, dude, I can honestly say I felt really good after talking to him, man. Like I genuinely and sincerely felt um like he was going to pull himself out of his shit. You know what I mean? I really believe that. Like before, I thought we were going to hear about fucking him being dead. I thought we were going to hear about him drinking himself or fucking, ending up in a ditch, whatever the fuck,
Right.
Um, but after talking to him today, man, I really feel like he's gonna start making some small changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what you gotta do, one step at a time.
Yeah, that's what I told him, man. I was like, dude, one decision. Make one decision and then worry about that next one. And then that next one. Just make one good decision after another. And then
Yeah.
after a while, man, you're gonna like when you make repeated good decisions in your life, especially when you're at rock bottom, especially when you're all fucked up, when you start to make those good choices, man, it becomes contagious. You know what I mean? Because it feels right. It feels good because you're doing something better and it feels that way.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, man, just keep doing that. Just and one choice after another. Don't worry about next week. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week or next month just worry about that next choice. That next fucking thing you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't go fucking get fucked up. You know.
Yep.
So. Yeah. Yeah, man. But I mean, even at your worst, you were not self-destructive like him. Like you were violent and angry, but you
Yeah.
would still not even project that towards people for the most part. You would project that at yourself.
Tell
You know
that
what
to
I mean?
Mario.
What's that? That's a Mario. Was what happened? Was that something that happened in Heiko?
No, that was. Do you remember beating the shit out of Perigo at your apartment?
Of course.
Yeah. So I was the first person to fucking hit him. I don't know if you remember all that night or whatever. I don't know. Everybody was drunk, but that's kind of how that whole thing started. Because I hit him a couple times. You know, I choked him out. It was like 3 times in a row, and then he started fake seizuring on the floor to try to get out of it or something. And
Oh,
then
I thought you said a Mar. Okay, I thought you said a Mario.
no,
I thought you
talking
said
about Perigo.
Perigo.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, tell that. Yeah, no, that that's another one of my favorite Marine Corps stories. Is telling about that weekend, dog.
yeah. I remember I think it's Monday morning formation. He was bleeding out of his ears, and I made him go wash his fucking ears out and clean his ears out because I was afraid of getting in trouble.
Dog, I still like looking back on the shit that we used to that we got away with and that we used to do specifically that weekend.
Yeah,
Like, how the fuck did we not kill that motherfucker, man?
I don't
And
know.
on top of that,
I'm
like,
actually,
dude.
I don't understand how he thought it was going to be a good idea to come with me and Gray to your apartment.
We told him we didn't give him a choice. Me
Yeah,
and
well, I
Mike
mean,
were
we
telling
did tell
too.
him, but I mean, if I was in his shoes, I'd have been like, yeah, no, I'm good, and then I would have just locked my fucking door or something like that. But I mean, he was willing to go, and I don't know if he thought that it was going to be like an in for him or what, but I think he kind of got the point at that time that we didn't really like him. So I don't know if we maybe subconsciously like just invited him to subconsciously beat the shit out of him later, but that actually wasn't my original intention. It just kind of ended up that way.
I, dog, like I remember when like two distinct things specifically. And two of them, or one of them, was when we were in one of the bedrooms and he was on the ground, incoherent or whatever the fuck, and I had you like by the back of the head, which is like a thing with me. Like that's a go-to with me. When I would always grab dudes by the back and go forehead to forehead. And I
Yeah,
remember like fuck this motherfucker, look at this, oh fuck that bitch, and wow, that makes me think of something else. And when we had him in the toilet because we were trying to get him to puke and banging his head off the shit and like drowning him, and when we had him in the kitchen and we were just fucking him up and like he started going into like convulsions and shit. Like,
yeah, totally fake, totally fake.
I, regardless of that, man, regardless if those things were fake or not, like I don't. You can't even say totally fake, dude. We were stuffing that 130-pound body, if it was even 130 pounds, with probably fucking enough booze to kill me. You know what I mean? Like we fucking force fed him alcohol.
Yes.
Literally, and we're beating him and each other. Like
Yeah, I do remember going out with Falco for a while.
Falco, me
Yeah,
and Mike.
he
Yeah,
ended
man.
up, I know he ended up beating me, but I held my own. I think for a good maybe I don't know. It felt like an hour, but it was probably more like 10.
Falco is no little slouch either, man. That dude will fuck you up. Yeah, he's
Oh
no
yeah,
little slouch. Who's this?
I have no idea. How do you add?
No, the picture will come up. What the fuck was that?
What's up? What's up, guys?
What's up,
Oh, it's
Fred?
Fred. Motherfucker, Fred. What are you doing, dude? What the fuck have you been up to?
Just leaving fucking the shop, man. Had a couple groups tonight.
You been all right, man? Like I haven't heard from you like all fucking day. How's everything been?
Yeah, everything's been good. Fucking time moving. But that fucking hit, so that fucked shit up. That took like, they pretty much like killed the fucking.
You got your camera on, Fred?
Yeah, I'm turning it on now.
Well, hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, there he is.
What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up, Kevin?
What's going on, man?
Chilling.
Dude, so how is moving going, man? I know that's gotta fucking suck, dude. I fucking hate moving.
We finished up yesterday.
Really?
Around like 6 p.m. last night. We all back. We're still unpacking though. I mean, had to fucking you all. Luckily, we don't have too much stuff. So.
Your speakers, excuse me, your audio sounds weird. I don't know what's up with your phone. Does it sound weird to you, Kevin? Does he sound
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
What about now?
I think so.
No, not better.
No, it just sounds like you're talking in a bathroom.
All right, hold on. Let me plug my fucking headphones in.
Yeah. Dude, moving is one of those fucking things that I really don't fucking like. I don't think I was having to help move into his new house not long ago. It was a couple weeks back, and yeah, it really made me. It reminds you how much you fucking hate moving. So, where were you at exactly last night, Kevin? Were you at
Well, I was at my fucking old man. He went to a private school growing up, and it's a Catholic school or whatever. So I hate to say he's like involved with it because he's not. He invited us to go to this fish fry, and I kind of knew it was a fucking bad idea, and I really didn't want to go. But in order to save myself the heartache from, him giving me shit afterwards about why I didn't want to go or whatever, so I was just told on we'd go. So we did end up going, and then a couple of my buddies ended up coming over our house afterwards, which is really why I was too fucking drunk to do anything last night. So they stayed until I don't even know what time it was. It was like shortly before I texted you to tell you that I wasn't gonna be able to do the podcast last night because I was so fucking lit. But yeah, I mean, we just sat around and played. It was like the first time in like 10 years I played a fucking drinking game. We played Kings with the fucking.
Damn, man, I've played that shit forever.
Yeah, where you stick the cards on the fucking beer tabs, and I mean, it's a bunch of Marines. It's two guys from 1-6, and then Josh. You know Josh. And then those two guys, one of them's married, and then another guy's got a pretty serious girlfriend. So, we just hung out all night and fucking bullshit. And I mean, that's Josh and those two guys are really the only people I really hang out with anyway. So, it's always a good time, but I usually end up getting too fucked up to function after the night is over. So.
And aren't those really kind of the only kind of people you hang out with anyway, or just other Marines?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So actually, when I was in high school, I went to a fairly large public high school. I think our graduating class was like 750 students for just our grade. And out of those 750 people, I really only hung out with three guys from our public high school. And we used to, hang out with a bunch of guys that went to private schools and shit. Just kind of superficial relationships and shit. But anyway, so one of those guys that I've hung out with my entire life, going through middle school and high school, he was in 1-6, and he did a push in Afghan with the mule before we went, and then he got his boots, which are these two other guys from 1-6. They both lived in Cincinnati, and they did the Marja push together. So I met both of those guys after I had gotten out, and just hanging out with my buddy from 1-6, who's a security contractor now. And I mean, I'm better friends with those guys than I am people that I've grown up with my entire life.
Well, of course, man.
Yeah.
What are you fucking mad that we didn't get to do that push, dude? Didn't that fucking piss you off?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And one of the guys, he was in, matter of fact, he just got married. I think it was like maybe a year and a half ago. It's like October of 16. And I met all those scout snipers that pissed on all those dead bodies.
I remember that shit.
I talked to all those guys about everything. like about how it all went down and how they, how they got fucked and not fucked in certain ways, whatever. But yeah, man, I mean, they're fucking great dudes. One of those guys had a really rough time a few years ago, and he was on the verge of suicide, and the cops got called. It was a big standoff and everything. And I went to see him in the hospital. I mean, it was like I was better friends with him than I was a guy that I've known since I was like 6 years old.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I was in his wedding. Like, I don't know, man. There's something to be said about that connection that you have with people that have been through. Maybe not even the same exact thing, but the same, the same concept or the same type of thing. And I mean, I guess that's really where a relationship comes in, is we can always get together and have that dark humor that nobody else gets, and talk about the shit that we went through, right, wrong, indifferent, bad, good, whatever, all that shit that everyone can relate to each other because we have been through something incredibly similar in some shape or form. And I will say, all three of those guys' deployments were probably worse than ours. They were worse than ours. Just talking to them, which is not to say anything bad about our deployment, because we did a lot of good things on our deployment too. But
well, you can't really say worse, man. I mean, that's
well,
such
I mean, it was. I'll say it was more. I think it was more kinetic. But
they were doing an actual push. We were doing a fucking, we were
absolutely.
occupied,
I think, and one of the things that they always agree with on me is like they had so much more resources than we did, which is like one of my biggest, like, I should say regrets, because it was totally out of my control. But I guess one of the biggest things that I look back on and like wish was different was the fact that we had a lack of resources to effectively do our job. It's like that whole mission with that we did with Recon, where they went and they confiscated all this shit, and like they had B-1 bombers and shit, and fucking all these,
them motherfuckers had air on standby.
They had everything, man. It's just days. Like I remember being on that mission and like going into the compound with Staff Sergeant Park and thinking to myself, like, we've been doing this for whatever it was, 4 or 5 months at the time, and if we had half the fucking resources that those guys had, we could have done so much more than we did. But we didn't, because we didn't have the resources. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's not a regret for me, because there's nothing that we could have done personally that could have changed that. But it's just a kind of a look back, and I guess a Monday morning quarterback, kind of wish that we had.
Well, it wasn't our mission, man. Like, it just wasn't our mission.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't our mission.
Met you with the speakers, but yeah, no, man, I completely 100% do. I feel the same way, though. I mean, if our mission was different, we would have had the not so much the resources, but the assets. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, same thing. But it's Oh, there you are. Hey, there you are.
That ain't it.
That ain't it.
Well, you did just drop off?
Yeah, he just dropped off. But yeah, man, the if our mission was different, obviously, if we had the assets to fucking do what we were doing, man, like, I liked what we did because we had so much freedom and we didn't have a lot of assets, so which means that we weren't big enough to rate that,
Right.
So yeah, we weren't big enough to rate it, but we were small enough to fucking get away with doing our shit by ourselves, you know? So that was something I really liked, though, man. I really liked the freedom of movement that we had, that we were able to do our own missions and do all that shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree, man. One of the best things I think about our deployment, and
are you back, Fred? Hold on, Kev. Are you back, Fred?
Yeah.
You got something to say?
No. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know.
All right. No,
well, you sound good now. Is that a Michelob, dog?
Cheers, brother. The Modelo.
Oh.
I know my beer.
I was about to really make fun of you.
No.
Yeah, no, DJ, but one of my favorite things, like you said, man, about our deployment was, we had a pretty good freedom of movement as to what I mean, if what we want to do, like if you look at what we did versus what Second Squad did, I mean, it's pretty clear that as a squad, we had an option to either kind of take a step back and just, do patrols for bookkeeping and just to say we did them like second squad did. Not putting down anybody in second squad other because nobody else had any other control over the other. But what I loved about our squad was we knew where to go to take contact, and we almost always did that. I mean, the last mission that we did, do you remember that? When told us not to go into the village, and we heeded his word for a while, and then we didn't really even go in the village, but we're like, well, let's just go in a little bit, and see what happens.
We still took contact.
Yeah. So, man, I like our ability to kind of pave our own way and basically pick a fight because we wanted to. Right, wrong, or indifferent, but I don't know.
That's what we're there for, man.
Because I mean, I think most of our squad can say the same thing, and probably people from second platoon is. I mean, I don't think anybody went to Afghanistan with the intention of just checking a fucking box and going to a half-abandoned village with 4 compounds and shaking hands and leaving, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think... if I'm answering honestly, I think there were some motherfuckers in our company, in our unit, that definitely would have been very comfortable with doing bullshit patrols and not going and doing anything.
Right, yeah, no, I agree. Insert person and other folks that I won't name.
Yeah, but... I like I said, I definitely loved. It was very personal. You know what I mean? Like that deployment was very personal for me. Which was good, I think, because that was probably the majority of my deployments. And when I say personal is, you weren't a part of big Marine Corps. You know what I mean?
Right.
They like to say big Army. You weren't attached to this huge unit in these massive. It was just us.
Yeah.
That's
all you had to rely on is you and your brothers, and that's it. There's no second unit coming to save you, so to speak, unless.
And that was actually what got us into trouble, like when he got shot.
Yeah.
We didn't have any ass because it was just us. It was just us out there.
Well, it doesn't help when you have up guns on your truck, so you're not allowed to either. So.
Well, you guys couldn't get to us, remember? Like we were fucking.
No, I have a different. I don't know if I ever told you about this, but we could have gotten to you. There was a certain platoon sergeant that was on my truck who was on my truck that isn't normally on my truck because he only went out with us maybe 2 to 3 times our entire deployment, and I think you can probably narrow it down because we only had 1 platoon sergeant. But
he was with us when he was with us then.
Yeah, he was on my truck and he was in the VCC and I was
talking about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had begged. Number one, as soon as the contact started, I got over the radio. I said, "Frank, we need to move up. Yada yada yada. We need to get up to them." And staff sergeant told me to wait a minute and hold on, and the firefight was continuing on for it felt like 2 hours, but it was probably only like 20 or 30 minutes before he finally agreed to start moving up. I'd been over the radio several times in that time frame to say, "Hey, we need to move up," and I was telling that at the time. So we started taking more fire of the trucks, but it was real sporadic and it wasn't really even that close. So he had the trucks drive around in circles like that was gonna do anything. But anyway. So I finally convinced him to start moving up towards you guys. And we were smashing through these wadis and shit. You know how the MRAPs are, man. Like the suspension on those awful. Like kidneys are shot. Was doing a pretty damn good job driving, and we were smashing into such deep wadis that the tow panel that was strapped to the front of the truck snapped off. So we had to get out and throw that thing in the back of the truck. And so we move up, and like I said, we were going through all these like real deep wadis and stuff, and we weren't a couple hundred yards away from you guys at this point, and Staff Sergeant tells us to stop, and I come over the comm like, "Why are you telling them to stop? We need to get up there. They're getting fucked up, And I think by this point, it had already been shot, and there was like a little stack of bricks they looked like bricks. I don't know what they were, but it was like a little stack of bricks in the road. It was like this little path. It wasn't really a road. But it was only like, I don't know, maybe 2 feet high. And it was like, a couple feet long. And I came over and I was like, Steph, we've been smashing through 3-foot waddies. A fucking 2-foot pile of bricks isn't going to stop us. We need to get the fuck up there, And he basically told fucking me to stand down. He's like, I'm the fucking platoon sergeant, blah, blah, blah. We're not moving because if we get stuck, we're fucked. And there was no way we were getting stuck because, like I said, it was just like a little 2-foot high pile of bricks. A fucking, I don't know how many pounds an MRAP is, but I can guarantee it's probably like 10 tons at least. I was like, it would have smashed right through it. But anyway, so that's why we stopped, and that's why we were so far away from it. And then I think at that point you guys had ran out of either pyro or pen flares to mark your position. So fucking, I'll give it to. This is the one thing that I liked about our entire deployment because I just just about every other fucking time. But he got out and he started doing like a fucking, basically like a Medal of Honor run towards you guys with a.
I remember hearing about the Medal of Honor run.
And then you guys came over the radio that you guys found one or whatever the case was. And he was like, by that point, he was already like 200 yards out. So I fucking, I had to yell for him. And he finally turned around and looked back. I was like, get the fuck back here. And he starts fucking dipping back or whatever. I don't think he took any fucking contact because I didn't see any rounds at the third or anything like that. But it was the one time that I actually respected on our deployment.
Oh, man. I remember when he got shot. That was when we had already split the squad. We had left the fucking base of fire and fucking me took the second half of the squad around because we were going to cross the wadi, clear a compound, and then fucking, go into the back of the compound that we were fucking taking contact from. And then when we had fucking crossed the wadi and got to the back of that compound and went down, it was probably, honestly, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 guys back there, Yeah. Fucking maybe give or take 2, But it felt just like so much, man, because it was at least one RPK, at least one, but obviously but it just, it was me and when he went down, immediately fucking started working on him and, pulled him over to the edge of the wall. And I remember hitting the fucking ground and I was looking, for where the fuck we were taking contact, man, where the fuck we were taking the fire from.
Right.
And I remember just being so pissed off because I couldn't see a fucking thing, man. I could not tell at all where the fuck that fire was coming from. Right. I didn't see shit. I couldn't see dust. I couldn't see flashes. Nothing.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
And I was so fucking mad, and I was just kind of fucking, just shooting it where I thought it could be, and I had behind me. So all I thought was, okay, I can't see where these fuckers are. I might as well just use my body to block, just to fucking be a human shield,
Yeah.
And I still feel bad to this fucking day because I was crawling, I was moving over, and I had Eddie right here, and I was kind of leaning back, kind of like this, kind of like laying out across. But I had so much weight. I had like fucking all my weight over across his fucking one of his legs, one of his shins.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there working on him, and I was fucking laying across some of his legs trying to block him, And he asked me, he's like, "Man, can you fucking get the fuck off me?" I can't exactly remember what exactly he said. It was either "get the fuck off me" or "please get the fuck off me" or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was. I remember, man, just thinking, just there was a million fucking guys out there, because it just felt like.
I mean, and honestly, that day made me lose a lot of faith in our leadership at that point. And I don't think I ever really talked about that to anybody for a long time. Actually, until I had that award ceremony for an award for that exact day. And I think that's the first time that I even brought it up that it was complete bullshit that he got a fucking award for it. When he basically got an award for, not making any decision for 30 to 45 minutes. And then telling us to stop.
When they gave us AT4s and grenades and then said we had to call way up to the chain of command just to use them, that's where I realized, I was like, fuck, man, our hands are tied behind our back. I literally have a grenade there, but I can't even ask my staff something. My staff PCO has ass a motherfucker that's not even like within 10 clicks of us if we can use this grenade.
Yeah, and it was an awful policy, and it's one of the things that I respected most about Seth Sergeant, because I remember when he took over our squad when Seth
He went
went
on Mad
home,
Bond.
and I remember Seth Sergeant giving us I don't think it was really a speech, but it was, he just brought us all together and he said, hey, whatever you guys have to use, 50 cal, Mark 19, saws, grenades, if you have to use it, you need to use it. I'll answer questions for you motherfuckers all day long. And he made it really clear that he didn't give a fuck if we shot the fucking Mark 19 or the 50 cal if we felt we needed to. He made it clear that he had full confidence in us to make that decision, because that's how we were trained, I felt
And
like
he knew our section too was the shit, dude. He knew that. Like, he knew our fucking section was the shit.
Exactly, and I almost felt like before Seth got to our squad, like, I mean, we had trained for this for so long, and I felt like we were basically being like babysat. Like our command did not have trust in us to carry out our duties, which they should have, because we were hands down the best company in the battalion. I mean, the numbers spoke for themselves at AP Hill when we set the range high at AP Hill. All those types of things. I mean, we were operationally sound. That goes for second platoon too, Fred. There's a reason why both of our platoons got selected to go.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm dead sure that Cap. That's another conversation. But I'm dead sure that Cap made that decision based off of the best two platoons. There's no question in my mind. Otherwise, they would have just taken,
Well, I mean, it didn't really matter what platoons went anyway, man. They still kind of just did the pick of the company. I mean, everybody who should have gone was there.
Right? Yeah, no. That's why most of you guys.
Yeah, that's what happened to us. That's exactly what happened to me, man. They chopped me from a different fucking platoon, and then in a different section.
I was heartbroken when you left our platoon the first time.
Yeah,
Absolutely heartbroken. I was devastated. As a boot, I was completely devastated, man, because you were my two biggest mentors in the Marine Corps. Period, hands down, no question.
Well, it was rough for us, man. But we were all excited though, man. We didn't give a fuck. We were all going to Afghanistan. We were all fucking ready to go. But Fred, what was it like fucking with you guys, man? Because our platoon was just always on Route Red, and we very rarely spent time on the 605, with the exception of that time our section got stuck out there. But what was that like for you guys over there, man?
Me.
Doing, Kevin?
Making sure I'm not gonna show my dick because I'm peeing.
Shit. Who's the other guy? But who's the other guy? Starts with a W. So we got attached on to 1-5 mortars in state. So I did the Route Red thing for maybe like the first couple of months, maybe the first 2 months. Once we were given that assignment, and then 1-5 went at like 5 people. So once I went over there, I stayed with them for the rest of the deployment. I was still in the same AO as you guys call it the mansion. You've been there before, right? Yeah.
Sullivan.
There you go. But no, I wasn't with trackers though. I mean, I was only with I only did the MRAP shit for like 2 months, and then after
that was like what he did, man. It was with the grunts up on the 605.
Yeah. He was with us. That's right. He got really cool with the fucking with the guys. He got really cool. He used to always listen to the fucking Marine that make those fucking songs. He's a bass guitar.
Yeah, Tyler, whatever the fuck his name is. The guy who did the EAS song. Yeah.
Oh, he was there with you guys?
Mm-mm.
What was that?
You said they were listening to him all the time, right, Fred?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You guys,
yeah,
and
Fred, fix the reception, motherfucker.
I don't know, but I mean, I learned a lot, man. I had to learn like a lot of shit fast once we got with those guys, like how to use the G-Boss and all the fucking equipment. And they did a totally different way than we did. Like meaning, their patrols were like 4-man patrols, so it was like super sketchy when I first got with them.
So
Because
like
it would just be,
patrolling?
huh?
Like satellite patrols?
No, just a single patrol of 4 men going 5 clicks in whatever direction the team leader wants to check out. And
Sounds really sketchy.
yeah, it was
Well,
sketchy, and I was like,
part of that new. That was part of that new operational plan. I think was to spread out over longer territory with smaller patrols, right?
yeah, it was. I don't know, man. I felt like you take contact with 4 guys, like, and let's say one gets it,
Hey, you're fucked.
it can get shitty really fast, man. We just
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I mean, you lose one guy in a 4-man patrol, you're stationary until you can get a fucking medevac.
Yeah.
Oh no, Fred, your reception keeps on fucking up, dude.
I'm going to bridge you guys. As soon as I get to the side, I'll be good.
Oh man, but dude, that when we got stuck on the 605, that was when and got blow up. Stats aren't, and then who was I think he was a comm guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in the turret.
He was T, I think.
And he got smashed. I remember when he had that delayed reaction or whatever, because he got smashed in the face. You know, the 40 came out and smashed him.
Yeah, I think he was motor T, Kevin. You're right.
No, yeah, you're right. And then I remember hearing about like when he was back in Germany, his fucking brain like clicked off, and he had to like relearn to do everything. You know.
Yeah.
But that was when we were supposed to be there for what? They said that it was a route clearance mission and that we were waiting for route clearance. We were just fucking providing security on the fucking on the explosion site and fucking on the blast site. And what was supposed to be a couple hours turned into a fucking week.
It's like 10 days.
A motherfucking week. Was it 10 days? Was it more than a week? Man.
I think it was at least a week. It might have been 10 days. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know for a fact it was at least a week. It was at least a week, but that fucking it still blows my mind how none of us got fucking attacked or fucking hurt during that entire time. You know what I mean? Like, and we were doing crazy shit, man. You know, because we were in a good defense. We fucking dug in on fighting positions, fucking on either side of the blast site, both vehicles. And we were just running those 2 vehicle sections. We're up fucking provide security, you know, on the north-south of the road. And then we were running fucking those little night security patrols in the fucking, you know, surrounding compounds at night and shit. And yeah, it still blows my mind, man.
Yeah, I remember they dropped a resupply helo with fucking. They dropped a big ass bladder full of fuel, and like we had no way to get into the truck, so we just left it there. You remember that? They dropped. Yeah, it was some big ass like bladder or whatever the hell it was, full of fuel, diesel fuel, for our trucks, and like they didn't like no one dropped anything for us to like even just siphon it into the trucks or anything. So we were like, well, we were talking, we were like, how the fuck are we supposed to get this into the trucks after? He's like, I don't fucking know. It's like, I guess we're not. And we just fucking left it there.
I remember when they almost dropped the pallet on me and when we were in the fighting hole, and that 53 came in with that resupply for one of the fucking, for one of the FOBs. And almost dropped it on, literally. I had to fucking dive on top of, and I didn't have to dive on it, but it was me and him went down in the fighting hole, and almost that 53, man, they fucking, thank God, saw us and pulled up at the last minute. But that was fucking, and it wasn't even for us, man. That was for the FOBs. And that was when we were running out of chow and water.
Yeah.
And we thought the resupply was for us. It wasn't.
No.
It was for the other motherfucking guys.
Hey, remind me, Fred, you remember that night we had to pull security for the 53s come down at Northside? So we get done on a night patrol. I think it was, I don't know, it was probably like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And Captain, you know, with his fucking rocky voice, like, hey, Corporal Dickinson, give me you and 3 other Marines to provide security for these helos that are going to come in for resupply. I'm like, okay. So I just picked the 3 closest people, which was like Fred, I forget who else, and and immediately after telling, I was like, I'm going to regret this. But, you know, so I put everybody out in their positions. We're like, all right, yeah, just fucking stay down. I was like, it's fucking, nothing's probably going to happen. We're right next to the cop. I was like, just, be aware. Make sure you don't get fucking landed on by a fucking helo. And I think the helo almost landed on Fred.
And
but,
girl.
yeah. So fucking, the helo comes down and fucking pull out the fucking supplies and shit. And they fly off. And I'm like, all right, let's go, And we come back to the fucking, the quote, gate of the cop. And I counted Fred and whoever, I can't remember who the hell the fucking other person was, but I counted them. I was like, where the fuck is... And Fred's like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, God damn it. Fred go out there and fucking sleeping. Helmet laid on his fucking RCO. I kicked him in his helmet. I was like, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just providing security, corporal. I was like, no, you weren't, bitch. You were fucking sleeping. I was like, get in the fucking cop. Fucking pussy-ass motherfucker. I was so mad. Because Cat saw me, when we got the guys in, that I only had fucking 3 of our 4 guys. He's like, hey, Robert Dickinson, where's the 4th person? I was like, oh, I know where he is, so I'm going to go get him. I just felt like such a fucking idiot. And it was just being...
You gotta watch that motherfucker.
Dude, as much as that fucking kid blew my mind on the... I can't even say stupid. Because I don't think he
should have never been in the
not
first
stupid. He's not dumb. He's not stupid. He's just he's just like I don't think he's human. I like to describe him when I try to describe him to people. I say that he looks like a 5'10" fetus. He looks like he never developed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But he's not dumb. I would never say that. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he is.
I don't think he should have ever been in the Marine Corps, but
I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either.
He wasn't evaluated right. They must have just really needed a number.
Yeah, that's a waiver for you, big time.
But that doesn't that just go into it makes me think, how does drill instructors not kill him? But you think about it, he made it through. He made it through boot camp. He made it through Afghanistan. He made it through us. You know what I mean? I mean that just goes to the joke how we like to say that would survive a nuclear fucking war. I mean he really. Yeah, I think he would, man. I think he's like a cockroach, not in a bad way. Just the fact that he survives,
just admit it, DJ. It's in a bad way.
No, it's not in a bad way, man. I would love to sit down and talk to him, man. I really would. I would love to sit down.
He's definitely resourceful, though. I'll tell you that.
Resourceful. I can tell you, whenever we wanted sandwiches from the Dwyer sandwich chow hall.
Dog, ask Fred. Ask Fred about him in motherfucking Africa.
That motherfucker, bro. Can we say what he found there?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We can edit the fuck out if we want or not, but it don't matter. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah, he found morphine from 1972.
Because he crawled you tell me.
The fucking Africans had this fucking. It was like a small Navy fucking ship.
It was a vessel. It was like a merchant ship. It was like a merchant vessel. You know what I mean? It was a supply ship of some sort that was beached literally right where our fucking damn bivouac site was.
Yeah.
Yeah. They fucking had a zip line that went. That's the only way you can zip line. You had to hold on to the handlebars and somebody had to pull you. So they made it clear they didn't want people fucking getting on this thing fucking and fucking Grohl and a couple other fucking boots. That's where they were spending their fucking nights, seeing how far down they can get into the ship.
Yeah.
Grohl got all the way to the fucking medical bay and fucking. I guess no. I don't know what the fuck happened. We found fucking morphine dated back to 1972.
They had to be in a supply in a medical kit of some sort, right?
Yeah. I don't know what else he found.
But I mean, you're on top of that, dog. Like you asked him to go get something, he'll find a way to go fucking get it.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, cool, bro. I found some morphine. It's like,
I remember seeing him one time, man. I was going through the barracks. I don't know what for. I can't remember why, but someone told me to come here to go in this fucking room, and I went in there, and I forget who the fuck it was, but they were telling me to go in the head, and I went in, and as soon as I opened the door to the fucking head, just steam comes pouring the fuck out. And the shower's running, it's hot as fuck, and there he is, in the fetal position, butt-ass naked, sleeping in the shower, with the shower just fucking blazing hot as, and like, not joking around, man, like, not even asleep, not passed out because he was drunk, asleep, asleep. And it was just such the weirdest thing because, one, he was in the fetal position and he looked like a big, not a hair on his body, just a big bald fetus, so it was.
Yeah,
he's fucking weird. He's fucking weird, man. That's fucking weird. Sorry. Yo, remember he brushed his mouth with a toilet bowl cleaner in Africa. I forgot about that.
God.
Gross.
It had shit on it. Like, I forgot how much money we paid him. He ate a crab, a disgusting ass. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you say he's not stupid, but he'll do anything for fucking $5.
Well, he did everything for money. Yeah, and I think he was pretty fucking rich. I'm pretty sure he had a sizable bank account when he got out of the military.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, hell, the motherfucker probably never drank, or he didn't really have anybody to go out with, right? I mean,
yeah, I'd never seen him go like leaving the barracks with anyone.
Yeah, I remember. This is after we got back from our deployment. Me and Miss.
That's a crazy motherfucker.
Completely wrecked, right? And this was like pretty fresh. Like, we were just a couple days back at this point. We were past the whole weekend leave that we had gotten for being back, and everyone's still pretty torn up about what happened with Sean and everything, me included. And me and Scott on the third, I think it was the third deck or whatever. And, because he had gotten sent home after the whole thing went down with, another one of our members in our squad. I'm not going to name him because I love him. But I think you know what I'm talking about, Smith. But anyway, so me and Stubbings just started beating the shit out of him. Like, I think we were just really looking for somebody to fucking be angry at. And the unfortunate recipient of who we chose to be angry at, and so it was just annihilating him. And a couple words were said, and then said he had to use the bathroom, and he was just high. Looking back on it, man, it's pretty awful, but he was hiding in the bathroom. So then we fucking broke down the bathroom door, and fucking he's acting like he's shitting, and fucking sitting there smacking him in the face and shit. I mean, we were, like I said, we were hammered drunk, but we were being mean as fuck, like we were belittling him and shit and fucking hitting him and shit. And I tried pulling, because like after a while, like my anger like subsided, and then like I guess my humane.
You realized you were being a piece of shit.
I realized that I was being a piece of shit, and I realized that nothing to do with what happened. On our last few days of our deployment, and I really just I was really drunk, but at the same time, I still realized that what I was doing didn't affect what happened, and it didn't change anything.
Oh man, yeah, like you said, you were.
Yeah, so I pulled his way. I'm like, hey man, that's enough, and I did say, something along the lines of, fuck him, I was still angry, but at the same time, some part of my mind said that this isn't the right person to be mad at. And I think I thought that for a long time about, what's, where's the right outlet to release my anger on. And I struggled with that for a long time. And I think I probably just released my anger so much that I kind of lost a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of that anger has a funny way of working itself out, but just, I think this is Brandon. It should be. Yeah,
Oh,
there he
shit. Oh,
is.
shit.
Freaking damn no.
Oh my
Hey
goodness.
guys, I'm gonna go piss. I'll be right back.
All right,
You're
Fred.
gonna go piss.
What
I
up,
wanna
fellas?
piss
What
on
up?
you. I wanna piss on you. You remember that song?
What's that?
You remember that song, The Chappelle Show, when he was making fun of R. Kelly? He was, I wanna piss on you.
Oh yeah, use your face as a toilet seat. Yeah, I got this thing rigged up right now. It's like sitting on top of some little thing I rigged up. I don't have to hold it the whole time like I did.
You just use a handle of Captain Morgan, you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Damn. What's going on, man? What y'all up to, man? What's going on?
Shit, man, I'm living a dream, brother.
Living a dream?
Somebody's dream.
What that is? What you drinking? What that is?
There's old Bailey, man.
What are you drinking, Brandon?
What's up?
What are you drinking?
Oh, a little bit of Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No, man, it's actually Michelob Amber Ale, like a lager. Michelob Ultra, but Amber Ale.
Wow.
What y'all think? What y'all think about that?
Did you buy a purse when you bought that to put it in? Did you to carry that out with?
Yes, it's actually in the fridge. I'll get it in a minute. I'll show it to you.
What'd you guys do, man? How's Lee? Where'd you guys go tonight?
Man, we've just been chilling for the most part. We've been working with Bailey with the dog training. That's been going fantastic, actually, man. She's really been doing really good. Dealing with stuff with my car issue still, man. Like that guy's like pretty much, it's like one of the situations where I was trying to kind of give him business just because he's like just now starting up his business and shit. And also he cut me a really good deal because he fixed my window to my car too, on the passenger side and shit. Anyways, long story short, I got involved with this dude and already like paid for the parts and stuff, and he said he's gonna start this shit like on Monday. He said either Monday or this past Thursday. And like when I text him and try reaching out, he hit me back with some part didn't come in, so they had to resend it and all this other stuff. And then he's like, but you can drop your car off, etc. I tried calling him and get in contact with him the next day, man, and never heard anything else back. And like he was like, yeah, man, we'll get it done. I'm like, bro, like this is time consuming, man. It's like already bad to start your business like this, and I ain't really pissed or stressing it, but already like paid for fucking parts. So you know what I'm saying?
No, man, it's irritating and inconvenient. It's really frustrating. You know what I mean? You don't want to hate on the guy, but it's kind of hard not to, because it's pretty inconvenient. So,
yeah. So other than that, man, just chilling, doing that, and obviously I've been working out. I mean, like I love like going, man. Like I said, it's like a great. It's obviously great mental wise and shit. We all know that, but then I mean, my bad. Vice versa. It's all great physical wise. We all know that, but also mentally, that shit like keeps me. Like I said, the island mind is the devil's playground for me. If I'm not doing something that keeps me going and shit, the gym is like the perfect thing to like not only release stress, it's just to be in there and shit, like in that environment and get your mind into a zone of not thinking about other things that really don't too much matter sometimes. It's just a good way to
checking out booties, checking out nice asses.
Turn your fucking your camera on, idiot.
No, I hear you, Brandon, man. That's actually basically the way I stopped drinking during the week was I started working out again, and I think I missed I think I missed yesterday in I don't know. So I think I missed 2 days since like January 3rd or whatever the hell it is. But yeah, man, it's totally. Other than one night, I haven't drank during the week basically since the beginning of this year. So yeah, I hear you, man. It's like a big fucking change for me because I've always like when I put my kids to bed and my kids go to bed at 8. I've always reverted back to all right, it's 8 o'clock. My kids go to bed. Let me grab a beer. And I used to drink 8 to 12 beers on a weeknight. And, wake up for work, all fucked up and, feeling like shit and everything. But it's just what I wanted to do at 8 o'clock because, I was just so stressed out and, thinking about still thinking about things from the Marine Corps, and just like how everything's crazy, and all these types of different things that are going through my head. And I basically, so far, I've been able to channel that energy into instead of going to the gym and trying to haze myself as best as possible, and to better myself to where I don't have to resort to alcohol to fucking be content with my life. So that's been a big step for me. But I hear you, man. I feel you, man. The gym makes me feel good. One of the things I'm afraid of, and it's kind of happened to me because I've been in and out of the gym since we got out, but it's been a while since I've been back in the gym for a couple of years. It's real easy to slip kind of back into that hole.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm really definitely. That's why I've only missed 2 days so far, because I'm definitely afraid of missing a day or two in a row, and then just slipping back down into that slope of, all right, well, it's 8 o'clock. Let me just drink one beer, and then one beer turns into fucking 2 beers, and then before you know it, I got a fucking damn near a whole 12-pack gone, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got to wake up for work at fucking 5:45. So
I can totally relate, man, and I can totally relate. Even backtracking, that's actually how it started with me. Well, it started on when I went to that. It was that APS deployment, the last one I went to right before that I got out and shit. But I'm saying it really started when I got back in, and definitely familiar with what you're saying, fucking Kevin, is like, that's what I was doing too, man. I mean, I was drinking like every day, man, of the week and stuff. And especially on the weekends, I would even turn it up a notch, you know what I'm saying? And then me just going to the gym and getting my mind based on the routine. Well, I was in the Marine Corps still then too. I would get back from the Marine Corps, pretty much change over into my gym shit and head straight to the gym. By the time I got back, I'm eating or whatever. You know what I mean? The day has went by and I'm not thinking about drinking. And then even now in college and shit, I was able to pace myself with studying and doing everything I got to necessary for college to get by, and not get by, but do really good and shit. And then on top of that, still keeping the gym routine and basically like that, man, keeping the routine and everything going, you know what I'm saying? And that really it really helped me in that sense. And it just helped motivate me in a sense of, your whole, like, I'm big on like, you look good, you feel good, you perform good. Like, I'm really big on that. And like, definitely if you're giving your all at the gym and shit, or not just the gym, anything a person can do, like fishing, anything they can do, to kind of keep their mind going. The gym and shit works. The gym just works for me because it keeps me like in a tunnel zone of that tunnel vision of just like me grinding and going and get it while everything is still playing in my mind and stuff like that.
right.
But that was familiar, man. The same way I started doing it too, and it's really helped me to, like I said, the weekdays. Mostly, I don't drink anything unless we're going out for just for a little bit with some friends or just us together, and only then I'm drinking like a couple. But most time I don't drink it all during the weekdays, and on the weekends I feel like, okay, I put my body through this, and then I can deserve to have a couple, and I'm still maintaining my drinks now on the week, on the weekends, and still not going like ham and shit like I was, Right. It's still been good, enjoyable and shit. So I feel you, brother. For real.
Yeah, no, man. Like you said, man. I think it doesn't even have to be the gym, but I mean, you just got to find somewhere else to focus your energy.
Works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to find something that something that you enjoy that you can refocus your energy on, man. Because like I said before, all my energy after 8 o'clock at night when I went put my kids to bed, because for reasons the way I grew up, I don't drink around my kids because my dad drank around us a lot, and he's not a bad guy. He's a great guy, but he's a functioning alcoholic, and he was always like that when we were kids, and he was always, just fucking ripped all the time.
Yeah.
I always told myself that I wasn't going to end up like my dad, I wasn't going to be driving around my kids all fucked up and, taking them to baseball practice and making them stay, 4 hours after baseball because I wanted to get fucked up. Well, like I said, it doesn't have to be about the gym, but it just has to be about refocusing your energy elsewhere. And instead of focusing my energy when my kids went to bed let me just fucking drown myself in a fucking bottle of liquor or a 12-pack of beer. Let me drown myself into something that's a little bit healthier, number one, and number two, it's probably better for my soul. Because I really can't. There's not a single time that I can name where I've been like really fucking down on myself, and alcohol has helped that. And I don't think anybody can say that. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, alcohol's a natural depressant, right? And I went through this, you know, like right when I got out a lot. I was drinking real heavily. And, you know, me and my wife were kind of like on the rocks and shit. And the only thing I could find a solution or the only thing that I looked for a solution in was alcohol. Obviously, I never found that solution in alcohol, and I don't think anybody ever does. But it didn't stop me from keep looking for the solution in alcohol. I think a lot of people can say that.
Well, it makes you feel better, man. You're not looking for a solution. It takes the pain away temporarily.
Yeah, it's temporary, but like I said, man, when you get enough drinks in you, instead of taking the pain away, then you start thinking about, you know, all the things in your life that have gone wrong, and I don't know if pity party is the right word for it, but you kind of have you just get real down on yourself, and you start picking apart the things in your life that have gone wrong, and you know, I'm a piece of shit for doing this, or, you know, I could do this better, and you just get, even though you're drunk, and you usually forget it because you get that drunk, and you know you can't function. But you know, at that time when you're that drunk, you think about the things that have brought you down, and they just keep bringing you down and bringing you down and bringing you down because you don't have anything else to think about because it's a depressant. And that's what I struggled with for a long time, man. Me and my wife I can't even count how many arguments we've had. I put holes through walls and all kinds of things that, looking back on it, where I'm just like, man, I can't believe that was me, you know what I mean? And not to say that I'm, you know, some type of sober bird perfect guy, but I'm a lot better than I was. I can tell you there's been no more stadium incidences recently. So,
like
you know,
you say, Fred, you said 1% or something, right, Fred? Like 1% every day and shit? Don't you mention something like that?
I don't know what the heck's wrong with Fred.
No, it's all good. But no, man, I can totally rate. And one of the things I was, it's kind of crazy, us getting on the subject about this, but this kind of relates to it too. Like just today, I've been coming across a lot of stuff that had purpose in it, and it was just trying to say like, people was trying to figure out how can they find like a purpose. Like I mentioned this on one of the podcasts me and DJ did, and I didn't expand on it a lot, but I was mentioning like purpose in a sense of, you know, when we're in the Marine Corps and stuff like that, it was easy for a lot of people, whether they love the Marine Corps or whether they liked it okay or hate the Marine Corps. Still, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people, the hard time that they had transitioning out of the Marine Corps was the lack of feeling like, you know, it's like having that purpose, and how it relates to the gym is the same. You feel good about yourself. You feel like there's a purpose. And for me, it keeps my mind going on the path that I feel like my destiny is going to take me to. The purpose of like so many things in a sense of, you know, like that it kind of like unfolds when you least expect it a lot of times. But when you feel like you don't have a purpose, I feel like it's a lot harder for people to find, I guess, a meaning. Like, you know, man, that's the whole thing about purpose, a meaning in life and shit. And it becomes like real difficult. So a lot of times those problems, like they come up, you know, drinking a lot, arguing at home, and like all these things that we all can relate to so well, like with the whole being angry, busting holes in the wall and shit. And I look back at myself too, man. Me and Dre was actually talking. He was telling about some crazy stuff I used to do, man. And I was like examining myself, and I was laughing, but at the same time, I was like, dang, you know, I was really like out of control, for real, out of control. And I knew I was like younger and stuff, but not only that, in my house, I was bringing it back here. Arguments came, like, you know, the drinking and stuff like that. But I feel like when a lot of people get out, you know, they lack they just lack having a sense of like feeling like they mean something, or what's my purpose, or what I'm doing in life right now that makes me feel like important. And a lot of those factors come up and shit like that. A lot of that stuff that we were just talking about and stuff, man.
Right.
I don't know, man. That's been coming up, like, I feel like my way a lot today, and I don't know why today has been like that. It's one of those things now, because I'm going to be moving, or we're going to be moving within the next like 4 or 5 months. And even though to some, you know, it's like one of those things like shit, it's not a big deal, but in the same sense, you're moving somewhere totally different. You're still doing something, applying or I'm speaking about myself. I'm still doing something to apply myself to finish, to get, you know, the degree or whatever. But it's not really the important thing about the degree. It's about the new journey we're going to be making, where we're going to be move into, the people and the connections that's going to come about. Because we all know all too well, you just run into people sometime or just things that happen and shit like that in your life. It's like, damn, like, you know,
Dude.
and it becomes part of, I guess, what you're already doing and shit.
I'm telling you. So the book I'm reading right now is Jordan Peterson's book, The 12 Rules for Life. And I'm into chapter 2 right now. Anyway, but what he talks about, you know, is how, you know, old stories, you know, and old epics, old tales about adventure and everything like that, and venturing out into they were metaphors for life, you know, lessons for life, to go seek adversity, go fucking seek, you know, and go through life and experience things and challenging and all that kind of shit. And that kind of goes what you're talking about, because for me personally, I'm at that point in time in life right now where I literally, I want to be challenged. You know what I mean? Like, I want to fucking pursue something in life that is hard, that I have to work very hard to get. You know, and I want that challenge. You know, I want to seek that adversity because, you know, I want to push my limits. I want to see what I'm capable of. You know what I mean? I really do. And when you're talking about moving, man, as fucking shitty as moving is, I fucking hate moving. It's one of the worst fucking things you can ever possibly do. I fucking hate every second of it. But at the same time, like you're talking about, you and Lee are looking forward to going there and meeting new people and having to establish yourself in a new place and make new connections and really fucking, you know, you're starting fresh, man. You have to build the foundation of your place in the community, you know, you amongst your neighbors and the town and what exactly you're gonna be doing, and then your school and having to fucking interact. You know, you got a lot of big life changes coming up, man, and that should be exciting. You know what I mean? You should look forward to that. You shouldn't be you shouldn't have that perspective of, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and fuck, there's this and that and this, because you're just, you know, you're having all these negative fucking things in your head. You're thinking of all these negative things, and I can't, and I don't, and what if, and all that shit. Instead of thinking, fuck yeah, and bring it on, and I'm gonna, you know, just all that positive minded shit. You know, so good on you, man. I'm excited for you.
I think you explained. I think basically what you basically just explained is every single veteran that gets out, that's the make or break point right there, right? So I think, you know, when you get out, there's a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's some people, you know, that don't have that mindset of, you know, I want a challenge and I want to, you know, take on something else. And because I'm a veteran, I can do these things and I can fucking get out there and I can either go to school or, you know, create a business like Fred, or, you know, go to school for communications, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And I think that's like real, it's a turning point in everybody's life that's transitioning from out of the military to something new. It's really that decision of, well, is being, you know, is being a veteran really, you know, the only thing that's going to define my life, or can I take, because I'm a veteran, can I take on a new challenge and
exactly
and succeed because I am a veteran, because I've gone through these things that most humans can't and will not go through. You know what I mean? This is,
yeah,
man, it's a touchy subject for me, because I think we all have somebody close to us that is not doing the best. And I think he kind of, I don't want to name names, but I think he kind of has a mindset of, well, you know, being in the Marine Corps is the, you know, the best thing that I'll ever do in my life. And you know, everything else pales in comparison. And I don't want to take on any new challenges, because I've already taken on the biggest challenges in my life. And I don't think that's the right way to approach things, man. Because, you know, like I was telling DJ when he was here, man, like, I love the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is the best experience I ever had. But, like, it doesn't, being in the Marine Corps, it defines me, but it doesn't, if that makes sense. So, like, because I was in the Marine Corps, I was able to go back to school and have, you know, a good head on my shoulders and know what I needed to do to succeed, and to succeed in school and take on new challenges, and know that whatever came my way, that I was going to fucking beat it, because of all the shit that we went through before that. Because I had been through a lot worse shit than anything that, like, life was going to throw up my way.
Preach, bro. Keep going. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and I think a lot of, well, like I said, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I think some people get stuck in this mindset of, well, I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. It was, you know, tough fucking combat deployment, 1, 2 pumps, you know, whatever the case may be. this defines my life. I can't do anything spectacular after this because nothing will ever top this. And while that's true in some aspects of struggles, you know, I don't think anything really tops the amount of struggle that you go through in combat. But at the same time, it should allow you to go through new challenges and accept those challenges because you've gone through those struggles. And
that's a character flaw, man, and that's my children running around being crazy. It's unfortunately, man, it's a weakness, and I truly do believe, man, it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with combat, as it has everything to do with just not being able to fucking get over yourself, man. Because people get depressed because of their circumstances, of where they're at in life, of what's going on. You know, how this happened to me, how did I get here, whatever the fucking case may be, and then it becomes that fucking, you know, that repeating loop. That, you know, you're stuck in your rut. Every single fucking thing around you makes you sadder and sadder and sadder, which makes you sad, so on and so forth. You know, I don't know, man. I just really think that fucking people let themselves become that. You know what I mean? And yeah, combat sucks and military sucks and all that kind of shit. And it's I don't think dudes get out and get depressed because they went through combat. I think dudes get out and get depressed because they don't have their brothers around anymore. You know, you're detached from everybody. You don't have that relationships. You don't have that connection. You don't have the fucking people that you can depend on. You know, in the civilian world. You know what I mean? And yeah, when you lose guys, it's traumatic, and when you go through combat, it's traumatic. But you know, it's even way more traumatic when you lose all of that, when you get out and you have nothing and no one, and you're just alienated and alone. You know, and there's no one that you connect on that level that you did with dudes that you were with. You know, so. I think it's just, you know, guys who unfortunately fucking get depressed, and the Marine Corps is the best thing I ever did, and I'm not going to do anything else. I think that it's just that, you know, they don't think that they're ever going to feel that way. They're never going to feel that way that they did when they had that connection with people. You know, there's no way I can connect with another person the way I did when I was in the Marine Corps. I'm never going to get those relationships back. You know what I mean? So he doesn't like, you know, people don't look forward to that because they're never going to be that happy. And that just is that looping cycle of depression, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's like I was telling you about, you know, high school and everything. I had 3 friends in my public high school, like 750 students that I, you know, hung out with, and I would have done anything for those dudes. You know, we were real close. We did everything together, you know, but like I was telling you before, we used to go to hang out with a bunch of private high school kids that were real, like, you know, superficial. They had a lot of money, but whenever we would hang out with them, like, they would always, like, you know, look down on us because, you know, we were public high school kids or whatever. You know, we went to Coleraine, whatever. And I never, you know, like, it was fun because we were in high school and we were drinking and shit, but, like, I never put any stock in our relationships, you know. They would always say hi and, you know, be superficial, you know, whatever, this and that. But I never put any stock in those relationships. And once I got in the Marine Corps, then, you know, the relationship started getting a lot more, I guess intimate would be the word. You know, you start really connecting. I mean, you learn some things about people in the Marine Corps
They become deeper.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes deeper. You learn some things about people in the Marine Corps in a span of a couple of months that you didn't know about people that you've grown up with your entire life. You know what I mean? You have real conversations, whether it be on Fire Watch or, you know, whatever the case may be. You
shared experience.
Yeah, pure experience. And
shared experience.
I mean, I missed out a lot when I first got out. You know, like I hung out with my buddy from 1-6 exclusively when I first got out. And then I met his 2 other friends, and like I said, that's really all I hang out with now, other than my other buddy from 2-4. But yeah, we just have that, you know, real intimate relationship where I can count on them, and I think that's really kind of what helped me get out of my rut when I first got out. Because, you know, whenever I would fucking, you know, put holes through doors or whatever, I just get fucking pissed off, and I would just, you know, call my buddy and, you know, he'd come pick me up and we'd go have a couple of beers and, you know, talk about whatever. And and after an hour or two or whatever the case may be, I was fine. I really just needed somebody to talk to that I could relate to, and I think maybe it's a lot different for other people that don't have that type of close connection with somebody that's they went to high school with or what have you, that they were good friends with. It was also Marine Corps and had those basically.
That's pretty rare.
Yeah, then it understands exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, so and I had my buddy that I was telling you about that was going to I guess off himself. I'd only known him for I don't know, maybe 4 months at the time, somewhere around there. But I was so much closer with him than I've ever been with any of my other friends. And his mom called me and said, "Hey, I don't know where he is. Can you help me find him?" And I found out that he was drinking a bottle of fucking, I think it was whiskey. I don't know if it was Jameson or something. But so I called him and he wouldn't tell me where he was at. So me and another guy from 1-6, the other buddy, we started driving all around Cincinnati, going to every single park that we could find. Because he said he was at a park, and that was all the information that he would give us. And we ended up finding him, and the police ended up talking him down and stuff. And after the police got him in the car, we got to see him afterwards. They let us through the roadblock and everything. And I just told him, I looked at him, I was like, "Man, I love you." And he was emotional and stuff, and he's like, "I know," and I was like, "No, I love you," And it was like, some from the heart shit. Like I love him. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know that. And I went to see him every single day in the hospital when he was in there. And I told him, anything you need, blah, 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 I'll give it to you. I'm here for you. I brought him books and shit in the hospital. And there's something to be said about that connection. And it doesn't even have to be a long-term connection. It just has to be an intimate connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It can be instant, man. It can be just as meaningful and deep in an instance. You know what I mean? If you have a shared experience or it can happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally can relate. I know out of most people here, like me and Fred, for instance, man, like ever since, bro, like that's why I'm smiling now. It's so true. Like us keeping just in conversations, like us calling each other or like Dre or whoever, like when we talk now, what it's doing to our lives in a good direction and stuff, what all this shit is doing. You said the key word, Kevin, you said fucking connection. It's exactly what it is. A connection, like to say, for instance, I'm not trying to get any kind of web, but literally a connection to an outlet has a charge, and that charge comes and all of us expands, and we do more in life. Like when me and Fred used to connect all the time, it was like talking about our ups and downs and where we're at in life right now, shitty, good situations, like all kinds of shit, man. Like literally live through them together, whether it's on the phone or like us at a bar chilling when Fred lived in Wilmington and shit. I can't say enough like how much, man, like shit has progressed me so much, and the next person never knows how much. We'll never even tell, but at the same sense, it's like it automatically motivates you, and it automatically molds you in a good way because you're around people that can relate. We all been through shitty and good times and everything like that. Not only in the Marine Corps, but when you get out of the Marine Corps, that connection never fails. It never just stops and stuff. Like you said, you can't. It's nothing that you can just be you can make up and stuff. It's or planned or anything like that. Right. It's a natural fucking connection and stuff. And me personally, as you were saying and stuff, and how you were there for your boy and shit, Kevin, man. I mean, look, everything that you were saying is totally true and stuff. And I've lived through it just by me ever since right before I got in the Marine Corps and my last enlistment right before I got out, and even when I got out and up until now and stuff, man. I always say connected with somebody and stuff, definitely that we serve. But I agree, man. I feel like when people get out, not people, but some people get out and they may not have that sense of connection, or again, that sense of purpose or importance, or again, that sense of feeling that they can actually do something or use what you were saying, use the Marine Corps as one of those things to apply to what you're doing now to is your drive to keep going further, but not make that the ultimate high. I was a Marine and that's the high point of my life. Use that and use those good times that you lived through and shit, and the connections that you made the whole time. The connections that you made the whole time to make a better life, and in the same sense, give your brothers and your friends and everybody fucking encouragement along the way and stuff. And even in their downtime, still be there for them and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's a lot of things missing. I mean, in general in the world, but that's a big scale to go on. But I'm saying in general, when people get out and stuff, you hit it right on the head with that one, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I went down there last year. I mean, man, we fucking hung out, and it's like we didn't miss a fucking beat. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And my wife, she gets upset. I guess upset is not the right word. I think she gets jealous. When I talk to like you or Dre or DJ or Fred or anybody on the phone, when I'm, I've had a couple beers in me or even not. Right. And I'm talking and she always tells me, she's like, you never really smile unless you're on the phone with one of your Marine Corps buddies.
Yeah.
And like, I never really thought about it until like she said that for like the third or fourth time. And I was like,
you're right.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have any other connections to, don't get me wrong, I love my wife. She's a great lady. She's an awesome lady. She loves our kids, but at the same time, I will never have that connection with my wife, and rightfully so. But she doesn't have that same connection with anybody else that she knows, friendship-wise or even family-wise, that can relate to the type of connection that we have. And there's something to be said about that. So, she's always like, well, I don't understand how you can just talk because I hate talking on the phone. Absolutely hate talking on the phone. I talk to my wife on the phone for like 30 seconds. I'm like, I need to hang up the phone. But I'm talking to you guys, man, like before I know it, we've been on the phone for like an hour and a half or 2 hours where my battery's going to die on my phone. And I'm like, I just talked to Noel for, an hour and 45 minutes. And I felt like I was.
That happens to these two all the time. Their shit dies.
It's like, man, there's just, and it's not even like we agree on every aspect of life.
Oh man, yeah.
Like there's things that we probably disagree on politically, religiously,
vehemently, probably.
Yeah, whatever you can name. At the end of the day, if you would put all of everyone in our platoon or even our company in a same high school when we were growing up, the odds of all of us hanging out together in that same high school is zero. Absolutely zero. 100%. So it's awesome that everyone comes from all walks of life, and I would consider every single one of you guys better brothers than I could ever wish to have fucking made in any type of high school ever in the history of my youth.
Love you too, Kevin.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where I was going with that. I mean, I guess I'm really speaking to it that.
No, man. No, I know where you were going.
We totally like with you, everything you're saying, bro. I mean,
no, man. Yeah, I'm not saying that to give you shit. I'm not making fun of you, dog. I'm not making fun of you.
I knew you were making fun of me. I just kind of lost my train of thought.
Hey, Kevin, my girl gives me it.
Wah, wah, wah. But yeah, no, I mean, Kevin, like seriously, and like I like to give everybody shit, but I give myself shit more than anybody because like I really try. I always say like I'll stop sucking your dick now, but I find myself, man, I'm really like fucking when I talk to people, when I talk about people, it really do, man. I get super proud that I know people. I mean, like ask Brandon and Fred. Like I mean, since we've been talking, man, I get really, really passionate about, fucking the way I feel about you guys, about my brothers, you know what I mean? I like to fucking tell you how much you fucking mean to me. You know what I mean? So don't ever fucking feel like it's like, oh, I know where I was going with that. Like, no, man, don't be a Satan. Don't be fucking.
I lost my train of thought. But
I get you. I get all mushy with it, dude. I get super girl fucking chick flick. You guys are so awesome, man. I get on it. Ask Brandon.
I mean, I think that's the connection. If you get mushy about it, which I do too, it's like I'm not even going to try to explain it because I think we can all agree that you can't. But I don't know, man. It's amazing to me that I've had this experience and that like I said, my wife always talks to me all the time. Like you would rather talk to Andre for 2 hours or Brandon or rather than, hang out and watch a movie with me. I'm like, well, I have all the time in the world with you. I only get to talk to these guys, for 2 hours every, 2 weeks or whatever we can get a hold of each other. But I love you guys, so much, and I care about all, whatever you're doing in life, even if you're having a bad time in life. It's amazing to hear from you. And I always like when Brandon, when we're talking on the phone, and Dre and all you guys, man, like everything just comes rushing back, of all the memories that we had, good and bad. And it's just man, that was the best fucking time of my life. And I think we can all agree you don't really realize that at the time.
Yeah.
You're just, oh, this shit sucks, we're in fucking Afghanistan, it's 125 degrees, whatever the hell the case may be. And we're fucking, doing fucking 3 patrols a day, blah, blah, whatever the case may be. And you don't realize it until you get out there. You're like, it's like when I drove away from Camp Lejeune after I got my DD-214.
The golden ticket.
When I got my last signature, I was happy at first, I was really excited. I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking free man, And then I started walking my car and I started really thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm not even sure I want to fucking leave, there was so much weird in my mind. I'm like, man, I have so much of a connection with all these guys, and I'm just I'm walking away from, It's almost like you're walking away from your family, you know what I mean? It'd be like tomorrow, just walking out of your brothers and your sisters' lives, and your mom and your dad's and your kids' lives. That's kind of what it felt like, And
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean, really, it
didn't feel like it was that.
I would feel that way until I started driving away from fucking base. I had a fucking tear in my eye, man. I was upset with myself. I wanted to turn around and fucking tell the goddamn whatever the fucking recruiter fucking dude is. I forget whatever they call him. But I wanted to fucking turn around and be like, hey, man, just fuck that and just
career planner
list, But
what it is, man, what it is, and what caused that is it'll be obvious in the sense of it being the Marine Corps is the broad. But if you look at it again, look at it like this too, man. The things that we had is, again, we were in a situation, whether it was good, whether it was bad, good or bad times, coming from all different races, background, culture, all these different things. And we were in a situation, no matter what, that we still had to be around each other and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I feel like people are missing in a broader sense of things is just that. It's it's not giving somebody a chance of the day just based off prejudging the way that you think that or you perceive that they're going to come off the B, and then find out that they totally weren't like that. And realizing just you feeding off of a conversation, and the conversation and connections that we had, us doing it now, or just, not saying make it your mission to go out to make connections. I'm not saying that. But the good thing about the connection that we had, it added on to, again, what we got going on now. And the reason it was so natural, because whether we like the situation we're in or not, again, we still dealt with it, man. We talked about all this shit while we're in it. And like you just mentioned, you didn't realize it at the time a lot of times, man. You didn't realize that after years go by, you'll be out of the Marine Corps thinking about the connections and how they never die, and us getting back and linking up like this on fucking Discord right now, doing all this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what's so fucking natural about it, man. And that's what makes the connection that we had. And what could be for a lot of people in general, not just better, a lot of people in general, if you really think about it, it's what we did, we had to, so we're in that zone. And we didn't even realize it shaped our character, knowing people from different cultures and realizing, okay, this motherfucker may be a racist person. We dealt with all kinds of kinds of people from all over the fucking world, people with different, Dre's West Coast, he's Colorado, and I'm from Virginia. Obviously both black, in the same sense. So
no way.
Yeah, we both are black. We both are black.
What?
Yeah. But
glad you told me, man.
Both brothers and shit like that. But in the same sense, he grew up totally different, as far as with the whole thing we got going on. And I remember one of the first times we were about to go hang out and stuff. He's like, man, you wearing that out, man? I think I had I had an American Eagle button up or some shit. He was giving me shit for it. He was so funny because Dre was all West Coast, G'd up, with the shirt, he just totally different. I'm saying styles and everything, but that connection came natural. We had some of the best times, and now we're brothers like a mother, like best friends, all that shit, man. Like we kept in contact and stuff, and you know, and that's that big picture of what we learned from each other. And I feel like it never. And what people when they always say they wouldn't understand what they're talking about, they're fucking right, because they was never put in a situation where they had to deal with it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? They are right. Like the stuff that we talk about is not going to be like boom. Okay, you understand right away and shit like that. But again, that natural connection, the natural ability to be able to connect like we do is something like undeniable, man. It's like you mentioned that we can practice. It's nothing, none of that stuff, you know. But I mean, honestly, man, I feel like I ain't gonna use the word practice. I feel like if more people can realize it, be aware of just being like, instead of like prejudging a person based on this, even if they're not like-minded. You know, like we were talking about, they may not agree with everything, but still have a conversation about it. That's how you fucking evolve. You don't evolve off shit of just being that same person who you were or who you are and everything that you know already. Sometimes you got to go into a conversation. Me and DJ mentioned last time, and listen actually and see a side of what they're saying. Your whole view as a whole may be totally different than theirs, but it may be aspects that can help shape you in a better or worse way or whatever. But it still shapes you in a in a way that you're evolving and shit.
Like we said then, man, it goes to the point to where when you listen to somebody and you actually fucking understand what they're telling you, and you understand that genuinely, you make that connection, they are way more willing to listen to what you have to say after you genuinely listen to and understand somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you can really have that honest fucking, I understand you because I'm listening, you know, and they understand that as well, and they see that, they're going to be way more receptive, you know, and back to what you were saying too earlier, Brandon, you know, our our relationships, you know, the bond that we all have has nothing to do with the way we dress, the music we like, the cars we drive, the girls we like nothing that most people build relationships on. That none of that is why we are brothers. You know what I mean? We have shared traumatic experience, not even traumatic experience, regardless of combat. You know, we were fucking in a Marine Corps unit, a very tight fucking professional Marine Corps unit. So I mean, we had a bond and a family, lived together, died together, all that shit, you know, and. And when your relationship and your brotherhood, your bond is built on literal, shared principles and shared life experience, which includes trauma. Who the fuck else has relationships that are like that? You know, that are built on that. And the answer is mostly only military and law enforcement. You know what I mean, or first responders and shit, because it's that. Those shared experiences, those traumatic shared experiences over prolonged periods of time. You know, the Marine Corps unit that trains together and, hangs out to get all that shit all the time, and then they go to combat. You know, I mean, that's a prolonged self-experience or shared experience and everything, man. And
Yes.
It's just it's it's not built on dumb shit. We're not hanging out together because we like the same people on Facebook. You know what I mean?